Innovation drives the world forward, and startups are often where the biggest changes begin. Welcome to Startups Unplugged, where we talk about the different sides of entrepreneurship. Let's dive in.
Hi, I'm Allegra, CEO and co-founder of Fler. That's the first Italian premium shaving and body care brand that's trying to make shaving much more of an experience. Today we will speak about building a startup with a physical product team, how it is to raise funding as a woman, and what type of suggestions I would give to who's starting a startup. I've studied management in Milan, and then I've moved to the US where I pursued an MBA in marketing and later on worked for a startup in the digital marketing field over in the US, and then got the Fler idea and decided to come back to Italy. The US startup system is very fast-paced and competitive, and I was very happy about having an experience there that truly made me understand what a startup is and how to start a business and launch it. However, I really saw an opportunity while I was working there in the shaving sector. There were a few really great startups in the US ecosystem doing something different in the specific market, and I really saw an opportunity to come back to Europe and do something here. The hardest part of building a business with a physical product, I would say from the beginning, it has been really working on the engineering side of the product, especially for our razors. There are a few things such as higher MOQs, production molds, and all the engineering side of building a product. And then after that comes the whole supply chain management and logistics side of it. That can really be tough and stressful sometimes. On the other side, I really love working with physical products, so it was a choice. Starting a business with my mother was definitely something that I did not expect. While I was like a teenager, our relationship was definitely more complex than it is now, like most teenagers and mothers, I think. When we decided to be partners in Fler, it really changed our relationships in such a more meaningful way of being with themselves and like being together. We are very complementary in terms of skill sets and strategic thinking. And the most important thing for me and for her as well, I think, is the fact that we have each other and we trust each other 100%. And so that's definitely something very important, I think, when you're building a startup, to have a co-founder that you really trust, because you can be there for each other in tough moments and in celebrating successes as well. For female founders, raising capital and building a startup is definitely tougher. They have to demonstrate more. And there is a bias, I'm sure there is. And what I really think is that we can also see and work through it as an opportunity of building themselves, like I'm building myself as a female founder, and building network has really helped. Right now, both investors but also companies we work with are looking for female founders, and there is a need for more female founders, led driven companies. And so I really think there is also an opportunity to implement a change from that sense of view. And at the same time, in the end, I think that metrics and demonstrating a clear vision is what matters the most. And even if at the beginning can be much more difficult for a woman, in the end, what matters is how you drive your business and how you're able to also show off that vision. And so I think there is also an opportunity on this side. So the thing that I learned by running a startup and I didn't expect, it's the emotional resilience it requires. And actually, I've heard many times other founders saying that having a startup it's a roller coaster. But once, until you experience it, you don't know it, I think, and you don't imagine it. You can close a big partnership one day, and the day after you can have a big supply chain issue. And you really have to learn to stay into that and to learn to not lose the momentum, the positive momentum that you've got, and adapt to challenges. I believe that was something that I knew, but I didn't think it was that intense. An advice that I would give to someone that's starting a startup is definitely build your network. Building relationships is the most important thing, both in the strategic planning of your business and leading it to growth, but also at the same time for when you have a tough moment and you need someone to speak to in different areas. Through fundraising, networking is super important. So yeah, build your network, build your connection. I remember when I was living in the US, I got the number of really high men in a cosmetic company. And I called him and I said, that's my idea, what do you think? And he didn't know me at all. And now he's one of our investors and advisors. And so that's something that it was hard for me as well, because I was not that type of person that ranks someone that doesn't know. But it has helped a lot. And that's the thing that I would suggest. So the initial team that we onboarded, I think it's a very important thing to get in people that truly believe in the product and the mission and the vision that you are delivering. As a founder, it's super important to always keep that vision very clear to the team, even when you're growing a bit more. And also to be able to take in some people that you might know from your previous experiences, whether that's university or school or friendships. Actually, our marketing manager right now, she was a close friend of mine. We met at the university, and then after a few years, I asked her to join us at Fler, and now she's doing amazing in terms of how she's growing and how she's leading her team. So also in the team building of a startup, networking, again, it's something very important and something that you must keep going. And you know, it can, many interesting things can come out of that. Thanks for listening, and see you soon at the next episode.
That's it for today. The startup world never stands still, and neither will we. Catch you next time.